Imagine waking up tomorrow with a fire in your belly so strong it propels you through every challenge, every distraction, every doubt. Now, I want to be honest with you. That fire, that surge of motivation you feel today, it's temporary. It flickers. It fades. And if you rely on it to push you through the storms of life, you will be left stranded more times than you care to admit. But here's the truth that few dare to embrace. Success doesn't come from waiting for motivation to strike. It comes from what you do every single day. From the rituals you commit to, the disciplined choices you make when no one is watching. Discipline, not motivation, is your true power. It is the lever that moves mountains, the silent engine behind every extraordinary life you admire. When you master your daily rituals, you stop reacting to life, you start designing it. You stop wishing for change and start creating it. And today, right now, I want you to see that your destiny is not shaped by bursts of inspiration, but by the consistent, unwavering actions you take. Actions that, when compounded day after day, become unstoppable momentum. We live in a world obsessed with motivation. Everywhere you look, people are chasing that surge of energy, that rush of inspiration, that feeling that makes everything seem possible. But here's the harsh truth. Motivation is like lightning. It's powerful, exciting, and electrifying in the moment, but it doesn't last. One day you feel unstoppable, and the next day, the same task that seemed easy now feels impossible. That's the trap. Relying on motivation alone is like trying to fill a bucket with a leaky hole at the bottom. It's never enough, and it never sustains you when the real work begins. Discipline, on the other hand, is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline shows up whether you're inspired or tired, whether it's convenient or inconvenient, whether life is treating you fairly or unfairly. Discipline is the quiet, persistent force that keeps you moving forward when your motivation has vanished. It is the commitment to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Think about the people who achieve extraordinary success. They don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect feeling. They don't sit around hoping they'll feel motivated enough to start. They design systems, they create habits, and they execute consistently. The truth is, motivation will get you excited. It will give you that initial spark, but it's discipline that turns that spark into a fire that can withstand the storms. Every morning, every decision, every action becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Discipline is a bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and it functions whether or not the world seems aligned in your favor. Relying solely on motivation is dangerous because it's unreliable. Motivation is triggered by circumstances, emotions, or external stimuli, all of which are unpredictable. Discipline is internal. It comes from commitment, from clarity of purpose, and from choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. It is this unwavering consistency that separates those who dream from those who achieve, those who start from those who finish, and those who wish from those who create. Every action you take out of discipline compounds over time, even when you feel exhausted. Even when the excitement fades, your disciplined efforts continue to shape results, character, and momentum. Too often, people focus only on results. They chase promotions, weight loss, financial goals, recognition, or fleeting accomplishments, thinking that these external achievements define who they are. But the truth is far more profound. It's not the occasional victory that shapes your life. It's the daily rituals you commit to without question. Your habits, the things you do consistently when no one is watching, these are the true architects of your identity. Every small choice, every repeated action writes the story of who you are becoming long before you ever see the outcome. When you embrace rituals that reflect your values, your vision, and your purpose, you stop chasing success and start embodying it. Discipline in your daily life becomes the signature of your identity, and the results naturally follow because you have become the person who can achieve them. Consider the power of repetition. One workout done today won't transform your body. 1 hour focus won't master a skill. One morning of discipline won't change your life overnight. But when you repeat those actions daily, they compound. They build a structure inside you that is stronger than motivation, luck, or talent. Daily rituals create a framework that aligns your actions with your intentions, turning who you are into what you achieve. They are the invisible backbone of excellence. When you meditate each morning, plan your day with purpose, read to expand your mind, or take consistent steps toward your goals, you are not just performing tasks. you are becoming the person who embodies those habits. Over time, that person cannot help but produce the outcomes they desire because their identity and actions are in perfect alignment. The key is understanding that identity comes first, not results. If you want to be someone who is fit, productive, creative, or successful, you don't start with the goal. You start with the rituals that make that identity real. You design your environment, your schedule, and your mindset to support the person you want to become. Every choice becomes a vote for the version of you you are committed to embodying. Over time, the sum of these choices transforms not just your day-to-day life, but your character, your confidence, and your capacity to achieve extraordinary things. It is in the repetition, in the seemingly mundane daily actions, that transformation is forged, and it is this consistent alignment between action and identity that ensures lasting impact. Many people underestimate the power of small, deliberate actions. They wait for monumental breakthroughs, thinking that success comes in sudden, dramatic moments. But the reality is far more subtle and far more powerful. Extraordinary results are rarely born from a single giant leap. They emerge from the consistent, intentional actions you take day after day. Every choice you make, every habit you cultivate, and every small effort you invest compounds over time, building momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. What feels insignificant today can be the tipping point for transformation tomorrow. The key is to recognize that progress is not measured by the size of your action in a single moment, but by the consistency and intention behind it. Think about planting seeds in a garden. One seed alone may not seem like much, and its growth is invisible at first. But with regular care, water, and sunlight, that tiny seed grows into a tree that bears fruit, shades the earth, and changes the landscape entirely. The same principle applies to your life. Every small act of discipline, whether it's writing a paragraph, exercising for 10 minutes, learning a new concept, or making a conscious decision to choose productivity over procrastination, is a seed. Repeated consistently, these seeds compound, creating results that far exceed what most people imagine. Most people quit because they focus only on the immediate impact, failing to realize that true transformation is the sum of countless small, intentional steps executed over time. The power of compounding isn't just in the physical results, it's in the psychological shift as well. Small wins build confidence, reinforce identity, and create momentum. When you see yourself taking consistent action, even in the smallest ways, you begin to internalize the truth that you are capable of growth, capable of change, capable of achieving more than you thought possible. That momentum grows silently but relentlessly, eventually reaching a point where the results appear to explode almost magically. What was once invisible becomes undeniable, and the life you imagine starts to manifest not through luck, motivation, or talent alone, but through the compounded effect of consistent, purposeful action. This principle applies to every area of life: health, relationships, career, learning, and personal growth. It's not the grand gestures that define your future. It's the small, intentional actions you take repeatedly, with focus and commitment. Each day, each decision, each effort builds upon the last, and over time, the exponential growth of these actions creates outcomes that feel extraordinary, inevitable, and unstoppable. Many people think of discipline as a restriction, as something that limits their choices or makes life rigid and joyless. They picture schedules, rules, and constant self-denial, and they shy away from it, believing that freedom comes from doing whatever feels good in the moment. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline is the ultimate form of freedom. It liberates you from chaos, from procrastination, and from the endless inner conflict that drains your energy and focus. When you cultivate discipline, you take control of your life instead of letting external circumstances or fleeting emotions dictate your actions. You design the structure of your day, your habits, and your decisions so that your energy is focused on what truly matters, and suddenly life feels less like a battle and more like a purposeful journey. Discipline creates a clear path through the noise, giving you the freedom to focus on your goals without being pulled in 100 different directions. Procrastination is the thief of freedom. Every time you delay, every time you allow distractions to win, you give away control of your time and your destiny. Discipline, on the other hand, forces you to act even when you don't feel like it. To prioritize what matters over what is easy or convenient, it gives you mastery over your impulses, over the mind's endless excuses, and over the chaos that comes from indecision. When you act consistently, with intention and with structure, you are no longer a slave to your circumstances. You are free to pursue your highest ambitions, to create momentum, and to live life on your own terms. Self-doubt and fear are also consequences of inconsistency and lack of discipline. When you fail to show up for yourself, your confidence erodes. You start questioning whether you are capable, whether your goals are realistic, and whether change is even possible. But discipline builds trust in yourself. Each small action you take reinforces the belief that you are capable of consistency, capable of following through, and capable of creating results. That trust is freedom. Freedom from the constant inner criticism, freedom from hesitation, and freedom from being paralyzed by fear. Discipline also gives you the ability to make choices consciously rather than reactively. When you have structured habits and daily rituals, you are not living in survival mode or reacting to life's chaos. You are living intentionally. You have the freedom to focus your energy on meaningful work, on personal growth, and on relationships that matter. You are free to create a life that aligns with your vision, not one dictated by whims, distractions, or fleeting emotions. Too many people live in a cycle of waiting. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect burst of inspiration to strike before they take action. They believe that transformation is sudden, that change comes in dramatic flashes of motivation, and they measure their progress against these fleeting feelings. But the truth is that transformation is rarely born from inspiration alone. True, lasting change doesn't arrive in a single moment of excitement. It emerges from mastering the patterns that shape your everyday life, the small, consistent choices you make, the habits you reinforce, and the rituals you commit to determine who you become, far more than a single surge of enthusiasm ever could. Transformation is the natural consequence of discipline applied consistently over time. Daily patterns are like the invisible scaffolding of your life. They are the routines, the habits, and the decisions that repeat day after day, forming the foundation of your character, your focus, and your energy. When you take control of these patterns, you take control of your destiny. Each morning, each decision to act with intention, each refusal to succumb to distraction or laziness compounds into a transformation that feels almost inevitable in retrospect. Waiting for inspiration is like waiting for a gust of wind to fill your sails. It may come, or it may leave you stranded. Mastering your daily patterns, however, is like raising the sails yourself, adjusting them steadily and consistently, and moving forward even when the wind is calm or contrary. The beauty of mastering daily patterns is that it builds resilience. Life will inevitably throw challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt your way. If you rely solely on bursts of motivation, you will falter. But when your transformation is rooted in consistent rituals and disciplined action, you have an internal structure that keeps you moving forward even when the emotional highs are gone. Each repeated action reinforces your identity, strengthens your confidence, and signals to yourself and the world that you are committed to becoming the person you aspire to be. Over time, these actions create momentum, and momentum creates results that feel effortless compared to the effort required in the beginning. Transformation through daily patterns is also empowering because it is in your control. You do not need perfect conditions, external validation, or fleeting inspiration. What matters is your commitment to the small, intentional actions that align with your goals. The extraordinary lives you admire were not built on sporadic bursts of motivation. They were built on the mastery of daily rituals, on the consistent choices that accumulate into unstoppable change.